According to Islam, miracles are extraordinary events that are experienced by the prophets and messengers at the will of Allah. The miracles are considered to be proof of the truth and validity of the message that the messengers convey to the people. How's it going, guys? My name is Leroy Kenton and you're watching FTD Facts. For this one, I'm going to be looking at 10 prophets according to Islam who performed miracles. Now, just a heads up, I'll be using the Arabic or the English translations of their names. So let's just jump in. Starting with the prophet at number 10, Prophet Idris. Now, he is the Muslim equivalent of the Prophet Enoch according to the Bible. Either way, Allah bestowed some miracles on Prophet Idris in the form of honesty, intelligence, skill, and the ability to create things that helped humanity, such as things like astronomy, recognizing writing, numerics, various different sewing techniques, as well as other things. And now, according to a hadith from Abu Dar, it is narrated that 30 books were revealed to Idris, and other traditions state that he was the first person who had initiated writing with a pen. He also used to stitch clothing and wear them, and before this, people used to cover their private parts with just leaves. Now, Idris used to stitch clothes together and worship and praise Allah that way. From there, let's look at the Prophet Noah. Although miracles of the Prophet Noah have not been mentioned in the Quran, where, by the way, he goes by the name Nuh, if we interpret some verses of the Quran and refer to some authentic sources available in this regard, we would find miracles. And one of them is as follows. In the Quran, Surah 29, verses 15, it says, "So we delivered him and the inmates of the ark and made it a sign to the nations." Also, when our edict came and the oven gushed a stream of water, we said, "Carry in it a pair of every kind of animal, along with your family, except those of them against whom the edict had already been given, and those who have faith. Except for a few, no one believed him." And that's found in Surah 11, verses 40. The prophet at number 8 is a man by the name of Hud. Now, with permission of Allah, Hud was able to guide the winds in whichever direction that he wanted. At one point, the people of Ad, for whom he was the prophet, had specifically called on Hud to do that when they asked him to show a miracle. So he made the winds go whichever way he chose. And he could also turn wool into shiny cloth. Also, the people of Ad, they were caught in a thunderstorm and they faced danger of being swept away by the floods. And Hud, he prayed to Allah, and shelters actually formed on the sides of the roads and people were saved through them. The prophet at number 7 is Lut, and he goes by the name Lot according to the Bible. But in Arabic, Lut, he was the nephew of Prophet Abraham, and he was sent to preach to the people living in the land of Sodom, Sham, and Palestine. And also he accompanied Prophet Ibrahim to preach. Now, the miracles of Prophet Lut include his prayer being accepted by Allah when he asked that the people of Sodom be destroyed. And also he was saved by Allah when Allah gave the punishment to rain down on Sodom and destroyed everybody, but he was saved. Number 6 leads us to Prophet Ismail. He was left in the desert by Prophet Ibrahim, and Hajar was his mother, and he was an infant at the time. And they needed water because it was just so hot. So Hajar, his mother, ran between the hills of Safa and Marwa 7 times in search of water. She then heard a voice and she called out and saw an angel, Jibril, where the Zamzam well now stands today. Angel Jibril, he dug through the sand and unearthed a well of water. And this water is known as Zamzam water because Hajar called out Zom, Zom, meaning stop, stop, as the water kept on flowing in fear that it would eventually run out. And now the water has been flowing from there until now, which is considered to be one of the biggest miracles in the history of Islam. Number 5 leads us to Prophet Joseph, also known as Yusuf. Yusuf was granted the ability to interpret dreams. When Allah granted the Prophet Yusuf Joseph's physical beauty, also, it caused him to be locked up in prison. But when Allah granted him knowledge by interpreting the Pharaoh's dreams, it not only took him out of prison, but it also elevated his rank in society. So yes, beauty can be a blessing and a curse. Knowledge, of course, it can be a blessing as well. So people say that this story really shows that knowledge is far superior to beauty. Next up, one of the most popular prophets, Moses, also known as Musa in Arabic. Prophet Moses was bestowed with many miracles that are mentioned in the Quran. And according to the Quran, Prophet Moses had 9 miracles, which included turning his staff into a serpent, inserting his hand into his clothing with it shining bright light when he ended up revealing it. Whoa. Also, he commanded storms and locusts to attack farmlands, as well as kumul, which is a type of plant pest, frogs, as well as the Nile River turning into blood. There was droughts, as well as the drowning of Pharaoh and his entire army. So you can see why Moses is so popular. He did a whole lot. Plus, he led the children of Israel through parting the Red Sea onto dry land. Prophet Yunus comes next. Yunus, known as Jonah in English, he sinned against the orders of Allah, and he was swallowed alive by a whale. But he ended up repenting, and Allah accepted his repentance, and he took him out of the whale alive. Allah ordered the whale to throw up Yunus alive on the shore, and that's when Yunus, on dry land, ended up being like, okay, well, I messed up. Let me actually just go and do what Allah told me to do in the first place. The prophet at number 2 is the prophet Dawood. Apart from prophethood, knowledge, as well as a kingdom and a divine book known as the Zabur or the Psalms, Dawood, also known as David in English, was also blessed with a very beautiful voice. When he was engaged in Allah's worship, the birds of the mountains and the forests, they rushed towards him and joined him in divine remembrance in their language. So it was like a beautiful chorus and symphony happening. Even the mountains are said to have prayed along with Dawood when he was in worship. And some of Prophet Dawood's miracles mentioned in the Quran are that Allah made iron as wax in his hands without the need of any furnace or any other tools to actually bend this iron. Also, Allah gave him knowledge in constructing armor, and it said that armor actually was invented by him because of his ability to just bend iron with his bare hands. Number 1 leads us to the prophet Suleiman, who is the son of Dawood or David. This prophet was given the power to understand the speech of animals, birds, and insects. He could even talk to them. And the Quran actually has specific instances of him speaking to birds and even to ants. And Suleiman, also known as Solomon in English, could command the jinn, which are the unseen beings according to Islam. And the Quran says this. He said, "O people, we have been taught the language of birds, and we have been given all things. Indeed, this is an evident bounty. And gathered for Solomon were his soldiers of the jinn, and men and birds, and they were marching in rows." And that's found in Surah 27 verses 16 to 17 of the Quran. Alright guys, so for all you people who made it to the end, of course this concludes our video here looking at 10 prophets who performed some amazing miracles. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a big thumbs up, and also let me know down below in the comment section what you thought about anything mentioned in this video. Until next time guys, stay awesome, and I'll catch you in the next video.